Alex with On the Edge Fitness. I am so honored today to have Franz Snideman from Revolution Fitness today. He is my first kettlebell teacher, and I've been wanting to do this for so long. 8 years ago, I filmed a video of kettlebell swings. It was an old video, and I'm ready to get the new video up. And today, I'm so lucky to have Franz to help me with this. So, let's get started. So much has evolved with the kettlebell swing. I remember back in the days, remember the bobblehead?
Yeah, there wasn't really an emphasis on head position at all, so kind of whatever the head did, we hopefully evolved a bit since then.
Exactly. And what about the hip hinging? We didn't really hip hinge as much.
Yeah, we definitely emphasized the hip hinge, but it was more of what we call a tippy bird, where you just literally, like your knees were almost straight. And now we've learned that that's actually not that good, that the glute, the butt muscles don't really turn on, right?
Not as efficient.
So now we actually encourage more of almost of a deeper hip position, not a squat, but a deeper hip position for more loading. So it's actually end up getting a lot more activation of the legs. So yeah, it has changed.
Exactly, and we'll cover that further just after this. And then, of course, the feet. When we're snapping our hips forward, we are driving so much through the heels. But not only do you need to emphasize on the heels, it's the big toe.
It's the toes, exactly. So now we know that the goal of the swing is not only to work the whole backside of your body and the hips, but it's to make you more athletic. And it's impossible to be athletic without your toes. So the toes now are a big part of the swing. We've got to focus on the toes.
Right, because without the toes, no quad activation. Lots of things do not activate properly.
You're not athletic.
Exactly. So rather than, let's just get right into it. We'll discuss as much as we can. We're going to keep it brief, keep it short. I'm kind of making fun of myself. We all did it, and this is still not the end-all, be-all. We're going to continue to evolve. This is just where we are now, and I feel like we're pretty darn good right now.
We're okay.
We're okay. We're always going to be students. Okay, so we're gonna break it down now. Okay, so way back when, old swing, you picked it up, you hiked it back, and you brought it up. Okay? That's not the most efficient way, so Franz is going to demonstrate the best and most efficient way.
So now we actually start the kettlebell from the ground, because we need a launching pad to generate some speed to get the bell. So you'll notice that the bell is in front of me now. I'm not going to start from here like in a deadlift position. I'm not going to be too extended. But I do need a little bit of length so that I have some distance to actually hike the bell. So from this position, hips go back, my head's neutral, I'm going to tilt the bell and I'm going to pack my lats. So my lats are engaged, and then from there I can hike the bell. So this is the position, this is how you start the swing. You've got to be able to load, but it's all about that starting position. So now we emphasize the starting position. Very, very important.
So old swing, starting position, and your head position was looking straight into the horizon. And the reason why we did that is because we wanted to avoid the rounding of the spine. However, this does pull on the neck a little bit too much, and it's just not as efficient. So it is best if when you are hinging back and you are starting your position, keep your head on top of your spine. What I tend to tell people is to look at the floor, but look in front of you. You hike the kettlebell back, and then just look at two spots. Now, if that makes you too dizzy by looking at two spots, find one spot way in front of you, but still keep your chin in, and then when you get to the top, stand tall and still look down at that same spot, but still make sure your head is tall. Okay? This is the neck position.
Okay, so what we used to do in the past with the hip hinge is we used to really emphasize kind of a stiff knee, so the swing would be more like, almost like this.
And the bell would hit us in the butt sometimes.
Yeah, that's a terrible way to swing, because there's no loading. It's a lot of hamstrings, the back of the leg, but not a lot of butt muscles, not a lot of glutes. So now we emphasize a hip hinge, but we like to load a little bit more, as if I'm pushing myself away from a wall. You'll notice that my hips are actually a little bit lower, as if I'm going to do a vertical jump. It's not a squat. I'm not squatting, but the loading is back and a little bit down. So this is a much better posture because it's more athletic and you activate so many more muscles. So that's a huge change that we've made in the swing.
You want more muscle activation, more bang for your buck.
That's right.
Okay, so the older swing, it was more of an emphasis on driving the bell up. However, now we have an emphasis on both, driving the bell back and driving the bell up. Again, more efficient. So you want your shoulder, when you're pulling your bell back, you want your shoulders packed with your lats. So your lats are activated as you're hiking it back. I'm not just letting it fall back like I used to, and then driving it up, fall. It's an active hike back. Also at the top, real quick, you don't want to lean back when you get to the top. It's very important to drive your pelvis to your rib cage. Just keep your glutes really tight and shoulders are packed. So from here, you're really solid, you're not leaning back, putting any strain on your lumbar. Okay? Pelvis to rib cage, a little standing crunch.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the toes, and hopefully you got 10 of them. Very important, what we've taught in the past is the emphasis of really sitting back on the heels. The problem with this thought is that often people would get into this kind of thing where they start doing their swings, and as they go back into their swings, you notice that one or two or several of the toes were starting to elevate. Bad idea. We've got to keep the toes initiated with the big toe. Keep that big toe, keep it pressed into the ground very firmly, and now you're more stable. So now you have a much more stable platform and you have a lot more power. Just like the old saying, you can't fire a cannon from a canoe, you'll have no power in your body if your toes aren't down. So it's very important that you just, it's the intention, just keep the toes down. And if you notice that your toes are coming up, just push them down. It's literally, it's just a thought that you have to go through, and you have to have the awareness. Easy to fix. Very.
So now we're just going to kind of piece everything together that we did really quickly. Starting position, rooting my toes to the ground, hinging my hips back, slightly opening my knees, just slightly, reaching for the kettlebell, shoulders packed, lats engaged, sitting back, hike it back with some power, driving through the toes, my heels. Listen to my breath.
Now you'll notice she's getting a nice powerful exhale up top, and she's inhaling through her diaphragm. She's breathing in through her nose into the belly. So you just take that sniff of air in every time, and a powerful exhale up top.
Watch my head. Real quick, that was more of a higher volume as far as intensity goes. If I wanted to do 100 swings with this bell, I would probably tone it down. But if I only want to do 10 swings, I only have time for 10. You notice a difference in the volume? Feel free to continue. I'm out of breath. It was too much high intensity.
Right, but so basically what you're saying is that if you can think of a volume control,
right.
A swing's a swing, but the amount of intensity you put into it's kind of up to you. So if you're doing really high rep swings, you're not going to go to like a level 10. It's just going to be too hard. If you're doing sets of 20, 50, or even up to 100, which is if you're already pretty advanced, you got pretty good technique, you're going to maybe dial it down to like a 3, 4, or 5. Exactly. So yeah, so you just got to use common sense. You can't overdo it either. So.
Right. Awesome. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you, Lauren.
Email us with any questions that you may have. Thanks again.
Swing away.